1.1 or 1.2 that we started with. It's under your seat. If you have it, just hold it up if you're able to get it. So the cool thing is in your cloud office, that's available right now, and you'll be able to pick that up tomorrow for a limited time. It's still some of everyone's favorite version. And the one thing that we identified with that is a lot of different attributes, but the right amount to really elevate ketones for an extended period of time. And it's mixed with MCTs. We have the patent for community-based marketing with that formula. And so I think it's important for all of us to understand that as a community, as a company, when we talk about community-based marketing, we didn't start with the product and say, look, now let's come up with a name. We identified why we wanted to do what we wanted to do before we finished that final version of that product that we took to the market. Does this make sense? And listen, we were challenging the status quo. We were challenging what everyone else in the world really even thought about health and nutrition. And we challenged it with courage. We did not know how the marketplace, we didn't know how the marketplace was going to accept it or adapt it. And we're going to talk about community, and the attributes behind community-based marketing. We knew that if we led with education first, which education doesn't mean that you have to become a ketone expert. Some people in this room in our community, they want to become the ketone expert because it drives their significance. The reality of it is if you want to become an expert in anything, become an expert on community and become an expert on developing relationships and developing teams. That's where real power comes from. But when you lead with education, there's a contrast because the very root of education is innovation. So when you educate, you can create a deeper level of awareness, not only for yourselves, but for the world. Does this make sense? And that's where better begins, with new awareness. And so that's bringing value to other people. And as a community, we knew that if we started this, there's a chance that people might not adopt it, but we knew that we could give people a different perspective on better, a different perspective on how they could feel, a different perspective on human optimization. So whether they experienced our product or decided to become a raving fan and a customer, or if they wanted to champion and be a promoter of our company or not, it didn't matter because we would be fulfilled and feel proud to be able to give them that conversation anyway. Does this make sense? Then they could make a choice. The contrasting difference is that Red Ocean companies lead with money. They lead with greed. They lead with fear of loss. They lead, and some of them don't even realize that it's a Red Ocean philosophy. So we made a distinction that we wanted to be a Blue Ocean company from the very beginning, to lead with education and focus on why we do what we do, right? So we weren't necessarily going out to figure out who could create the most transactions in the world. We were really looking for people that are looking for us. And if you want to know how this entire movement, how this entire conversation started, it started with relationships. It started with me reaching out to a dozen relationships that I had developed. And each one of them brought 2 or 3 people that they developed to Newport Beach over 24 months ago. At the time of that meeting, we gave everyone in that room a snapshot. There wasn't any gurus in the room. There wasn't any people say, well, what are you going to pay me to do this? It was just people that we knew were ambitious, that wanted to align with doing something bigger in the world. Does that make sense? And so everything that you feel here, that you see here, the movement, each and every one of you are in this room because of that initiation. And so for us, it was about encompassing why we're doing what we're doing more than it was about selling and creating a transaction from the very beginning. And that's what that product that you just picked up underneath your seat, that's what that represents. That represents Blue Ocean, and that's where we're going to continue to operate in, and it's seeded with relationships. You see, every person at the table, there was 12 to 15, we talked about ketones. And what's funny is half the information that we talked about there, I didn't even understand it like I do today. But we did understand that this was a new perspective. Half of the people there denied it, didn't think it would work, and that's okay. That was their choice. Just like as you go out in the marketplace, you're going to interface with people, it will be their choice, right? Listen, someone else's opinion of where you're going doesn't become your reality. Become passionate about bringing value to other people and value to the world, and the money will fall in place. It's in a direct proportion or indirect proportion. When you lead with what's in it for you, or you lead with ambition and money and greed and transaction, can you capture people? For sure you can. But it's a smaller percentage of people have that awareness. It's a smaller percentage of people than looking at the global picture, right? But when you lead with vision and mission, think about Elon Musk. I mean, he's a hero, a mentor of mine. He wasn't focused on how many cars he could sell. You all do understand that, correct? He came out with Tesla, electric car, when everyone said it couldn't be done. His goal was not even to reinvent the car industry. Did he do it by a byproduct? Yes or no? Yes, he's creating a new standard. His vision and mission was so far bigger than the car industry, it's crazy. Where was his vision and mission? Where was his vision and mission? It was so blue ocean. It was, how do we better the planet? How do we better the world? How do we lead? How do we create sustainable energy? That's where his vision and mission was. Do you all understand that? That's where we are. Yes, as a company, just understand this. We're the pioneer, we're the leader, but we're the leader because of the engine, because of why we were seeded. That's why we're the leader. Now, here's what's really cool. Is we're pioneering that. We are becoming the Microsoft of what an industry will follow behind us. The ketone industry, the ketone conversation. We're the Microsoft of that industry, right? However, you got to understand, our perspective is bigger because our vision and mission is congruent with everyone in this room. Why are you doing what you're doing? There's something deeper inside of you. We all want to make a lot of money and achieve. I get that. But we're not here, and we haven't sat through 2 days just because it's the money that we're after. Am I right? Yes or no? So keep your vision and mission congruent to ours. Our vision and mission, we've stated loudly. It's about helping create awareness through products, programs, understanding, events that can truly move people to inspired action to become better versions of themselves. It just so happens that this conversation can do that. And there's so many different applications. You guys follow me? Yes or no? Yes. And so this next segment of what we're getting ready to do is going to show you how you can lead from a position of value, a higher level of energy. This is real. This isn't fluff stuff. We could have a sales seminar. I know the tricks of the trade. I've read the books. I've been to the circus, I've seen the strings, right? Getting a transaction, that's easy. Building something long-term and creating something bigger takes heart and it takes depth. And that's what community-based marketing is about. It's not about understanding the right words to manipulate someone and convincing them. That was something I had to learn a long time ago, right? As you become skilled in influence, you have to constantly reseed yourself as, why are you doing what you're doing? The last thing that we want anyone to do is participate with our community that doesn't want to be here or for the wrong reasons. Am I right? Yes or no? Yes. And so we feel very proud of these attributes in coining a brand new industry with community-based and leading with, number one, education first. Education doesn't mean you have to become the expert in ketones and talk about all of the elements of it. Education means you lead with value, with innovation. Does this make sense? You lead and seed because you're going to bring value to other people, which creates a different level of awareness. And then it's followed up by always keep in mind the vision and mission of why you do what you do. Always keep that in mind and focus on the relationships. Here's something when you talk about relationships is For so many years, I always looked and it's like, oh my gosh, this is the influencer. It's the who's who. There's people in this room that they're more concerned with being friends with who they think is an influencer based on what they think that's going to get them. You have everything in you. Look, in a community, you might not like everyone, but it's about going towards a common goal. So when you develop a relationship that's truly authentic. It's about pouring into a relationship that makes you feel better, not based on what you're going to get out of it. That's what relationships and relationship focus is about, because this entire room is seated based on a real connection of a real relationship, of mutual respect, of mutual love. Your friends already have an opinion of you, am I right? They might not have told you yet, but they're going to love you regardless, because that is what a friend is. Does this make sense, yes or no? That's what makes up the cloth of a community. And it is truly team supported. This is the contrasting difference. We're going to go through and give you illustrations of how you can build the muscle. So as you're out there creating new teams and new communities and new groups and reinforcing them, that team supported means identify who is on your team. And whose team are you on? So many years I've found that people discard the most valuable part of the community, and that is the contributors, the people that contribute without the expectation of anything in return. Because they're the achievers, right? Not everyone's going to be an achiever at the time they arrive, and some people don't ever even need that to fulfill themselves. But a real community, if your team's supported, you actually find out what your team's needs are, and you meet them at those needs. And you either support them or you help give them directive so they can accomplish it. Does this make sense? It makes sense. So many times we blow people out of the water because that's the old paradigm that we talked about, right? That's that transition we want to make because we're so focused on our demands, our needs to get rich. That's where I was until we have that defining moment. And then it's really about a commitment to better or a contribution to better. Makes sense, right? The commitment to better is what? It's a commitment to always moving forward. It's a commitment to whatever better means. It's pursuing it with inspired action, knowing that not everything's going to go right. And so this entire movement was seeded with one simple goal. How do we disrupt the marketplace? We disrupted it. And we not only disrupted one marketplace, we disrupted many marketplaces. And we're continuing to do that. But what we're doing is we are actually bringing real value out there. And that magic that's creating that if you want to say impact, is all of you guys. And it's the very essence of community-based marketing. And we're going to continue to optimize. And optimization means what? Moving forward, progressing, continuing to stay in front. You know how we continue to stay in front? By pushing each other, right? By coaching each other, by continuing to raise the standard. So hopefully you'll accept this gift, the prototype experience. Hopefully you'll experience it. It's after lunch. You'll enjoy it. If you want to experience it and take it home with you, we do have it for a limited time because you guys showed up. And in the spirit of who we are, we wanted you to have it because we have so many new people in the room. We have so many new people in the community. We always, 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 no matter where you go in life, never forget where you came from. And we're never going to forget where we came from. My dad told me this a long time ago. It's not where someone is that counts. It's where they're going. And we have an incredible community of people that I know are going places, and I'm super proud to be in the room in the presence of greatness. Thank you guys, and as I'm going to close my mouth, I want to play a video in the spirit of the prototype and us creating the disruption that you guys have created, and in the spirit of community-based marketing. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. And remember this, every great leader can be led, and you also have to trust your team. So with that, I will turn it back over to Natalie and the team to take you through these elements and all of the attributes around them of how you can apply them in your DMO, your daily method of operation. So with that, Love you guys. Appreciate you. Hope you enjoy this video.